Yep, it took me that long to finally get the song out of me. And the funny thing is, Enough to Love is one of the fastest song I've ever written, if not the fastest one. But the problem was that I never thought of that riff. That's the starting point of the song. I never thought of that idea as one that I would do because I mean when you listen to the riff earlier, like just from that alone you can tell that it's in the realm of like rock, metal, punk that I've never really set a proper foot in. So naturally I just thought of it as like a fun riff, like a cool idea to fiddle on the guitar every now and then. But everything suddenly changed when I decided to make a track out of this riff around the same time that I wrote the majority of the album, like The Sounds Beneath the Sun, Living in Circles, Condition Imposter. Yeah, around that time, which was quite an experimental period of mine. So yeah, I just decided to make a track out of this riff and like fully embrace the metal rock sound of it. But the problem is, I was only trying to make a track out of it, not a song yet. I just thought, okay, let's just use it and experiment with it, whatever, to like practice producing, because that's one thing I need to get good at too, which allows me to set aside my insecurity or my personal opinion, which most of the time doesn't matter at all. So the way I approached producing this track was to layer a bunch of guitars until I get the sound I want. That's also will give me a stack to like take away and add more in when I need to. And why did I start with this even though I never produced this style? A while back, I was watching a documentary with my friend on how Nothing But Thieves, their producer and guitarist, produce most of the songs. I just saw him stacking a bunch of guitar, and that were able to give like the guitar a lot of characteristics, like multiple ones, because you can add in and take away when you need to. That's what I wanted. That's like the starting point for this track. So yep, I just watch and learn. So now I applied it here. Let's have a look at the session now. So this is the whole thing. And actually let's listen to it first, so you get what I'm talking about before we dive into the layers. Okay, that was pretty epic. Let's skip the first half of the intro for now, and then look at all these layers here. Okay, so first of all, the riff on the guitar. As you can tell, there's already 3 layers. So what I started on was this layer, which is just in your face, right in the center, mono. Nothing too dramatic, just a good crunchy tone on the guitar first. But like I just said, it's mono. It's right in your face, right in the center. So there's only one single component of it that I want to fill up, the stereo feel, because the guitar is the main character here, right? The guitar is the star of the show. So I want to add more to it. instead of just right in the middle crunchy guitar. So I did that by adding some stereo with a different preset on Logic because well, that makes it more interesting. They're like this. It's adding more to the pot, I would say, to make it more flavorful. The second layer that I added, like I just said, it's stereo, and it's slightly different. There's a tiny bit of delay on there. Let me see what's going on with the pedal board. Yep, just overdrives. Oh, I didn't use the flanger. Should have used it. Yep, I added stereo width. There you go, spread line. But not all the way. Not fully hard left and right yet, because there is still more I wanted to add. So now we have what's apparently at the front, right? In the center and in the side, but they all at the front. What about the back? Which is when the third layer comes in, where I just have, I think, a lot of reverb. It's just the same tag that I duplicate over. Yep, there's flanger here, distortion of course, reverb on the pedal board, and then I send it to another bus that has more reverb and some more distortion on the reverb itself. Sounds like it's in another room, but when you add all three of them together, it's massive. Like it has everything. It's in your face, it's out on your side, and it's in the back of your head too. It's everything. So after that guitar layers, I think I went to the drums, which was kept pretty simple as well. Yep, really simple. Just open hi-hat on every quarter note, and then the kick, then the snare every 2 and 4. Nothing dramatic. Okay, so how I wrote the bass line was pretty interesting. I basically took the idea or some of the motive, some of the key points in the guitar riff, and play it on the bass. So the bass is basically a simplified version of the riff, which I also play on guitar and then transpose it down because I didn't have a bass at the time. And the bass sounds like this. You can tell that there's some syncopation going on there, but like you can tell, like the main elements of the riff in the guitars are all there. Okay, let's just have the bass and the drum so you can hear how the bass interact with the kick pattern as well. Here's the interesting thing. The bass rhythmically interact with the kick. The bass line also harmonically interact with the guitar riff. So if you hear the guitar riff and the bass together, it sounds like this. There's some interesting clashes in there, but that's the whole point. I wanted that. So let's go back to the very start of the song. So what's going on here? Well, basically, I just take the third layer of that guitar riff stack, the one that sounds like it's in another room, and then I just automate EQ, I think. Let's have a look. Yep, and then it cuts off at the fourth beat of the last bar to, like, you know, contrast. Okay, that's it for the intro. And then once we get to the verse, this is something like I don't usually do. where there's absolutely no chords being played, just the riff and the drums under the vocals. Well, at the time, I didn't mean to add vocal because, like I told you, this started out as just a track. So I wasn't thinking of making the song out of it at all. This is where I take away from that guitar riff stack. So instead of having three of them, I now only have the layer on the side. Why? Because, like, again, I was thinking of producing for a song as well. And once I think of that aspect of adding vocals as well, the vocal always have to be in the center, right? And obviously in the center, there's the drums and the bass as well. So anything that can be on the side should be on the side, and it just turns out to be the guitar. Compare that to this. See, yeah, I take away a lot of its energy to, well, leave room for the vocal. And then the drum stays in the center. That's literally the only thing going on in verse 1. Or at this point of verse 1. And then we have the vocal.
I could try to let you in, the chaos inside me, but I can't assure that you won't get a burn over you.
See, at this point in the song, everything is really intimate. It's like you feel like everything is happening in like a really small, tight space. That's what I was going for. Okay, let's get to the pre-chorus now. This is where we add new stuff in. So first of all, there's a piano. The guitar is completely dropped, and the drum is doing something interesting too. This is where the energy got dropped again. So the energy curve of this song is like this. It's building really intensely from the start up to all the way on the top. And then in the verse, it's got dropped back all the way down again, and then it builds up gradually. And then into the pre, it got dropped again. So it's like teasing you in a way. Let's go to the chorus now. This is where we actually blend the two elements of the verse and the pre-chorus together. Well, in the verse, we have the strong guitar riff, right, and the distorted guitar sound, and then the pre, we have the delicate piano sound. Then the chorus is where we smash the two together.
Fuck, I don't do enough, I am not enough. It won't do if I keep hating me. Tough luck, I am on my own. No one is there if I don't show up. You don't wanna run until you can fucking run. Where can you run until are you still drowning? You're the only hater that's feeling you all alone. You're on your own, it's more than enough to love.
So let's go through every layers first. The drums. So this is where I get into like a more pop rock groove. Very different from this. See? It's so tight, I love it. And the bass. It's quite similar to the verse. It's slightly altered because like we have a full-on chord progression now instead of just a riff. Speaking of chord progression, I think I added an extra guitar layer. Oh, it's a completely different bass. Okay. All right. So what's going on here? Oh, this one's clean. What's going on? Why is it clean? Yeah, it's clean because the overdriven timbre is already in the bass. So even if this one is clean, it will be somehow heard like it's distorted. Like, look, if I play you the bass and the guitar, you can tell the bass is kind of overpowering the guitar at this point. I added a like a counter melody. You could say this could be like an underlick as well. I think I added after the vocal, to be honest. First half of the chorus is just that guitar, bass, drums, and vocal, and that counter melody, where the energy is kind of like built up, but it's not it's not like fully explode yet. And then in the second half, we added extra layers to the guitar. This is where we build up the energy here. When you listen to here, so you can tell the difference. Almost destroy at this point because of this layer. It's on the side as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah. I just completely distort the shit out of it. Those two layers of the guitars alone are probably where most of the energy in the chorus come from. So let's have a look at the keys now, because there's something I think that was pretty interesting that I played too. Did I play that myself? Oh wow. I played it in myself. Okay, interesting. Damn, I'm better than I thought. Okay, yeah, that was the keys layer that I added in. There's barely any processing on it because the original sample was already pretty solid to me. So I didn't feel any need to process much aside from like some EQ to take out the mud. And then after that, we go back to the riff, quote unquote, the drop, where I have the riff come back again after the intro. And then we got verse 2. Back then, only up to this point, I was feeling like, okay, might as well just make a song out of this. I was really in the moment and everything just felt good. Everything was just flowing effortlessly. I might have subconsciously hummed a melody while I was making the chorus. So I started there, having the chorus melody down, put in the lyrics, and then go back to the verse, working all the way to the pre as well. That whole process took me barely 1 hour, I would say, like from from verse 1 to chorus. That probably only took less than an hour. And then verse 2 took probably like an extra 10 minutes max. Everything just came to me at once, like lyrics, melody, everything, the whole concept, whatever I wanted to say. And the reason why it came out that fast was because I was really hitting the nail on what I was dying to express at that time, which brings me to the meaning of this song as well, like what it's about. It's mostly me being sick of myself, again, yes, for overthinking and stressing out over my productivity, like why am I not working at certain times when I should be working, while I was on a literal holiday. Like, that's the worst part, I have to admit, that's the worst part. Like, making music is something that I love doing, I enjoy doing, and I have fun doing most of the time. And to have it being associated with work and to have it feel like work is something like really wrong that I have to fix. I have to do something about. So yeah, I just try to put that whole feeling and that anger, sort of. I would say, oh yeah, it's pretty much an anger, to be honest, in the song, and which makes total sense why the chorus sounds the way it is as well, even though it might be a bit intense. Um, it it felt right, yeah. It basically felt right. I can't really explain that feeling, but it's something that I really had to get off my chest, and like put it in a song and express it out like that. Now, because of that chorus and the overall message of the song as well, I almost named this Name Enough to Love Overthinking Part 2. If you really think about it for a second, both songs are about fighting off my anxiety and my inhumane expectations upon myself, right? But the main difference here is really apparent in the ending of the two choruses. Overthinking's chorus end like this. Who cares if I lose it all? So overthinking is about not being afraid of losing anything because you don't have anything to lose anymore. So I might as well abandon that weaker part of me, that part that is filled with insecurities. Might as well just let it go and abandon it because who cares? I don't have anything else to lose anymore. That's overthinking. On the other hand, Enough to Love ends like this. You on your own is more than enough to love, right? So Enough to Love is doing the opposite. It's telling me to embrace that, right? And accept that weaker part of me, the one that's filled with insecurity and anxiety, is also a part of me. So love it too. And allow it to coexist with the better part of me, the one that I like better, the stronger part of me, because that's just part of being human. That's why I decided to separate the two songs, and that's why they're on the two different halves of the album as well. And this parallelism, that's a fancy word, that parallelism between of the themes here are also apparent in some of the other tracks in the album too, on the first half and the second half. One I can think of right now is Options Never Meant to Be, or like Clouds Are Not Real and Condition Imposter, or even like The Sun Underneath the Sun, the very first track of the song of the album, and No Promises, right? Like The Sun Underneath the Sun is all about promising a future that like I will do everything for you, I will even die for my love for you, right? I'll do everything. And then No Promises, it's just like, nah, I'm not doing it. For my sanity, I'm not doing it. That's No Promises. But obviously that parallelism is not going to be as obviously apparent as Enough to Love and Overthinking. And before ending this episode, I'm pretty sure Enough to Love is out by the time you watch this video. So please make sure to give it a listen if you haven't. And then, yeah, I'll see you next week for the finale of the series. Until then, see ya.
Forgiveness, ignorance, just a thin line. I feel anxious when I feel comfort. Since when living life is deemed as lazy, I feel anxious if I don't lose sleep. Time don't ever wait for those who hesitate. You either give in or you keep fighting. You're gonna have to keep fighting. Love won't ever come to those who only expect the sky to stay dark forever. How long has it been for me? It's always fuck, I don't do enough, I am not enough. It won't do if I keep hating me. Tough luck, I'm on my own. No one is there if I don't show up. You don't wanna run until you can fucking run. Where can you run to while you still drowning? You're the only hater that's killing you all alone. You're on your own, it's more than enough. It's always fuck, I don't do enough, I am not enough. It won't do if I keep hating me. Tough luck, I'm on my own. No one is there if I don't show up. You don't wanna run until you can fucking run. What can you run to when you're still drowning? You're the only hater that's killing you all alone. You're on your own, is more than enough to love.